Hey everyone, my name is Ben Chaish, and today we are checking out this amazing new lens from Voigtlander. It's been honestly one of the most requested videos that you guys have asked about in the Leica M kind of world, and that is the Voigtlander 50mm APO-LANTHAR. Now before we get started on the review, I just wanted to say a special shout out and thanks to CameraQuest. They are Voigtlander's America USA distributor for, again, Voigtlander lenses. And so this lens is on loan from them. It's definitely not mine. I don't get to keep it. I'm sending it back as soon as this review is over. But wanted to give them a special shout out. So if you're interested in purchasing this lens, you can do so in the description down below. It's not even an affiliate link or anything like that, but I'm just thankful for CameraQuest for allowing me to use this lens, test it out, and be able to make this video. Now this lens is a 50mm f2 lens, which might not be that, I don't know, exciting for many people. It's not fast, like super fast, like a 0.95 or even a 1.4, but what it lacks in speed, it makes up in just about every other area possible. Now, my go-to lens for the last 3-4 years or so has been the Leica 50mm Summilux. So I'm gonna be comparing it directly to that lens. I know that it is in a hugely different price category, as well as it's a 1.4 lens instead of an f2 lens, but I don't have a lot of experience with the Summicrons, so for what it's worth, they're two excellent lenses, and so although they aren't exactly a fair comparison in many realms, and they're similar but different, at least that's what we're going to be working with. I also did a lens test between the TT Artisans 50 1.4, and I added the 0.95 just for the sake of all of the comparisons, and we will definitely jump into those comparisons and see those samples in a little bit. Now let's just start with the fact that honestly this lens just is one of those lenses that feels right on a Leica camera. It is not too big, not too small, it doesn't weigh too little or too much. It is just one of those lenses that like passes, as I call it, the Leica balance test. I don't know, it just kind of like checks all of the boxes for me. Like one of the things that I love about the Leica system is it's so small, and the lenses that I want to carry kind of on a daily basis and everything like that are ones that feel good, that aren't like annoying to carry. And this one definitely fits that bill, as it's very, very lightweight, despite the fact that it does kind of protrude a little bit from the body, especially when you add the optional lens hood. But I will say that it's definitely not too heavy, and that kind of, you know, extra space here definitely doesn't add anything in terms of balance. And so with that, and just kind of like a good walk around lens, this definitely passes the test with flying colors. Now this lens clocks in at $999, so just under $1,000. And the lens hood doesn't come with it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think that's kind of just the standard for a lot of the Cosina, Voigtlander, you know, Zeiss style of lenses. It is a great lens hood and fits the styling and everything really, really well. It's definitely one of those kinds that's like a bayonet, fits directly on there, it's custom made for it. And again, works really well, but that's gonna set you back another $109, I believe. So overall, you're looking at a little bit over 1,100 bucks for this full set, which in the world of amazing Leica M-mount glass is a heck of a bargain. gonna get out of this lens is fantastic sharpness, color, rendering, and just the specifics of lack of chromatic aberration and any other kind of lens faults of any kind. So I've used this now at 2 different weddings, at a few different shoots, for a project that I was working on with Moments, and everything I get out of this lens is incredibly sharp and basically without fault. The thing that is amazing about some of this higher end glass is that you don't really have to go into the lens correction panel to try to get rid of, you know, chromatic aberration and things like that. And that's where this APO, whatever you want to call it, type of design and workings of the lens coatings and stuff like that really go to fix. It has multiple spherical elements as well as other, you know, like dispersion elements and just crazy lens technology to try to make the best possible lens. And I'm told that this lens is actually the best lens that Voigtlander has ever produced. And that's saying something to me because they do make really good lenses. And this one definitely lives up to that really high standard and that high, I don't know, claim that they're putting out about it. It also has a floating lens elements which help with focus shift as you're kind of stopping down. And it also has 12 aperture blades. So as you kind of stop down, you're going to get a clean out of focus element at almost every aperture, which is kind of unheard of. I don't even know how many aperture blades this Summilux has, but it's definitely not enough. If I stop down, I definitely start to get not circular bokeh anymore, which is pretty frustrating as I'm doing maybe group portraits or things like that at a wedding. Maybe I want to shoot at like 2.8. And then I'm going to get these weird out of focus elements where this bad boy definitely looks circular all the way down and makes for a much more pleasing image. Now, while you definitely can adapt this onto basically any mirrorless camera, and I'm sure it would work great, the Leica M system is definitely what this is made for and calibrated to and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, if you're going to jump into the Leica M system and maybe don't want to spend the Leica money or don't want to go all the way down in price to maybe those TT Artisan and 7 Artisan style lenses, I think this makes for a very good choice. Regardless of what you're looking for in terms of price, this definitely, again, hits way above its weight class, and I would say it could easily compete with any lens that I have ever used. Now let's jump in to some of the images and compare it directly to the Summilux as well as to a few other lenses that I have, just so you can see the very specifics about, you know, where it's actually doing better and is sharper and all that kind of good stuff. So honestly, this lens is fantastic. I can't really say enough good things about it. You're obviously hearing me gushing about it quite a bit, but for good reason. It fits just about every bill. The styling is great, the feel is great, the weight is awesome, the balance on the camera is fantastic, sharpness is off the charts. You know, all of the chromatic aberration is almost completely gone. As far as just everything goes, if you can get away with using f2 and you don't need 1.4 or below, this is honestly an absolute no-brainer. If this lens came in a 1.4 and had all of the same, you know, features and everything like that, I would most likely actually sell my Summilux and buy a 1.4 version if they ever made one, just because it really is that good, that sharp, and still gives you that good rendering and everything like that. So honestly, couldn't recommend this lens enough. Thank you again to CameraQuest for lending me this lens. So thanks again for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next one.